Hi everybody, I am sorry that I'm using my phone, but hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to start building my 5.0 Losi buggy, and I left my computer at the store, so um, hopefully you guys can all hear me. I've actually built one of these before. Had a 5.0 a couple years ago when it first came out, and used it for carpet. And now I got it for dirt. Part of the reason why I got it for dirt is because Losi came out with that racer payout program, and I want to win some money. It's gonna be hard to figure out which. I think the camera's right there, so. So here it is, new car. It's always fun getting a new car. I got my dirt associated car over there, and I'm not getting rid of that because if I don't like this, or if it doesn't mesh well with me, I know that car inside and out, so I always have a fallback, I guess. Ugh. How's everybody doing? It's gonna be kind of difficult for me to see the chat all the time. Again, because I don't have my laptop, so it's kind of a weird angle. I know I'm missing the bottom. So yeah. So Shane Alberico just asked if I'm doing the front end mod in the rear. So here you go. I got the Avid C block and 22x4 rear arms. So when we get to that section of the build, I'm definitely going to do that. Emerson's in charge of painting my body for me. Hopefully he doesn't screw it up. Get the instruction manual out. And then yeah, I actually have to study the front end mod. I haven't even looked at it, like on what to do. I know I think Charlie Mariana had a video on how to do it, so I was going to look that up and just make sure I do it right. But I have a whole bunch of associated front wheels that I obviously want to be able to use. So if I can do it, then that's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Get that there. Looking for bag A. Oh, there you go. Oh, that's right. We start off with the diff. I forgot all about that. You guys want to see something cool before I get going? This is my Axial Pro that I just got done painting. So, customer of ours, really good customer, 3D printed my rear end here, and I like it. The red's a little off. I might paint it. I'm thinking about taking that off and painting it the same red color that I have here, but I gotta finish part 2 of my video, and it's ready to go. All the electronics are in, and I'm pretty excited by it. So this thing's gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to this year. I hope to finally be able to get to a couple more competitions. Maybe that'll motivate me to go to a few more comps, I'm thinking. So we got our instruction manual that's in a gazillion languages. And we start right off with the differential, so that's fun. Actually, I have a gear diff for this car. Emerson and I actually have 2. One from the last car kit I got that I used on carpet, and from the last time I had a Losi car. It's pretty crazy that this kit is actually quite a number of years old. I think it's I think the Elite's been around for about 3 years now. I think that's right. I was just going through, I was rummaging around for stickers for my crawler, and I realized that I put my stickers in a 5.0 box. So the last time I had one, kept the box. So that's always nice. The Elite comes with the 3.5 shafts. Yeah, you know, so when I was a TLR driver, one of the gripes that I always had was it always felt like you had to have sometimes like 2 cars in order to make one good car. That was always kind of annoying, and the trend kind of continues. Like, you've got different shafts for different conditions. You've got, you know, front end mod, rear end mod, no front end mod, no rear end mod. It's just kind of one of those things that I just wish that they would make it a little simpler for regular people. But whatever. The one nice thing about the Losi shocks right now is that I still have a buttload of pistons for them. So that's nice. So I can try some different stuff, tune some different stuff, you know. Got to do these diffs right because it takes 13 screws to get to the diff. Hopefully, when the time comes where they have a new car, I don't know where my rag went. Oh, it's right there. Hopefully, when the time comes when they do have a new car, they'll figure that out. How to make it a little bit easier to service, I guess. That was always one of the things that I always liked about the older TLR stuff, you know, the XXX and the even the XX. You know, they were kind of a little easier to work on, it seemed like. That was always something that they kind of had built into the car. Okay, to be honest with you, I don't even really have to look at the manual on this one because I've built so many TLR 22 diffs that I kind of almost have it memorized, right? Sorry for all the background noise. Like I said, I'm using my phone. There's no headphones or anything like that, so it kind of is what it is. Told everybody I was going to do an after hours, and I didn't want to disappoint, even though I forgot and left my computer at home or at work. So kind of dumb. Dumb. We'll see how far I get before I get kind of exhausted. I stayed up last night so I could watch the Mandalorian and Bad Batch, and then Picard is on tonight, so, or tomorrow morning, I guess. So kind of torn. Jackson Anderson, have I noticed that Rivkin's running a different chassis? I haven't really paid much attention. Actually, the Nitro Challenge coverage from this weekend was probably the most that I've kind of paid attention to anything on the 8 scale side of things. But I will tell you that, you know, they're never stopping R&D. They're always out there trying different things, just trying to find an advantage, trying to make a car better, regardless of how good they may think they already have it. Every team's always out there using prototype stuff. How bad is the drip? I don't know. It didn't look too bad today. There was last night I watered the bejesus out of the oval because I got to get ready for the final dirt oval race this Saturday. Put the blade on the tractor too, so I can scrape it off. But when I went down there and opened the doors today, I didn't. The actual off-road track wasn't bad. The oval still had much water on it, but like I said, it was dry. Like it was crazy dry from all the people practicing on it this weekend. Okay, so ball diff. I don't know if you guys. There is a video out there of how to build a ball diff that I did, or maybe it was just how to break it in. Anyways, I'm gonna build a ball diff for you guys. Grease, hand, spooge the grease in your hand, balls. I said spooge and balls, so okay, balls into hand. Make sure there's none in there. Nope. Okay. Finger. Mix it up in the palm of your hand. Get all the balls coated. Okay. Like so. Then, come on. Scoop it up. And there is a side to these. I think it's this side. I'm gonna slide them in there. Take a wrench, gently start pushing the balls into the hole. Come on. There you go. Do. Balls in hole. I don't know what Emerson's watching upstairs, but it's loud. I'm sure you guys can probably sort of hear it. It's got cuss words because they're bleeping it out. Okay, grease. We're gonna take a little bit more grease and just put an extra little coat around it here. Kind of use the tip to sort of guide it over the balls. And then you take the end that has the, I don't know, the male end of the diff ring. Got a cat hair. That's never good. Okay, like that. I got the bearing already on there, okay? And then we're just gonna go like that on that side. I'm gonna set that down for a second. No, I'm not. What am I doing? Okay. Now the side that we didn't have extra grease on, we're gonna put a bunch of extra grease there on that side. I don't know if you guys can see that. No, kind of. Actually, the phone's not working too bad, really. Okay. I already got the bearing inside of the female end here, and now we're going to put those two together. And now we're going to set it down for a second. Okay. Where's my rag? I got a little Windex on my rag, so it'll be really good for wiping off all that grease from my hand. Most of it went on the diff, though. Yeah, right? Actually, this shirt fits really well. That's why I wore it. Can't tell as how fat I really am. I was watching the What's New video today, just making sure everything looked right, and I'm fat. I need to do something about that this spring. Get this ready to go. Okay. I'm going to dump the thrust bearing balls out where I can get at them here onto the instruction manual. But if you have a rag or anything like that, just that'll work too. You just don't want any You know, you don't want any bits and pieces of everything. There's another cat hair. My cat sucks. All right, thrust bearing. Okay, got one of the rings already on there, and a little bit of grease. You're gonna twist it around as you spooge some out. You honestly can never have too much. I mean, you really can't overdo black grease, right? Because whatever is not necessary will kind of go away. Okay, now that I've spooged some of the black grease out and I've got it on the tip here. By the way, props to Team Losi for continuing to have these type of dispensers for their diff grease and black grease. This is good. Little canisters of it is bad. Stop doing that. And see how I pick up, now I pick up the thrust bearing ball and I just sort of plop it in place. There's one. Two. Three. 4. 5. 6. Got your other little washer here. Ah, come on. Don't do that. There we go. And make a little sandwich. You kind of make sure the balls stay in there. Balls. Rag. Where's my rag at? There it is. And 2mm. Oh, that's not a 2. Crap. Hang on. Where did that go? There it is. Kind of hold that like that. And then pretty sure that's the side. Yeah, very good. Make sure it goes into the female side of the outdrive. Okay. So now that we got that, goes in there. And if you're not careful, every once in a while, you can have a ball sort of sneak out as it goes in. So just be careful about that. And then the spring, you should always, I don't know if does the instructions say that anymore. Yeah, it does. Haha, compressed spring. So I've already taken my pliers, first thing I did, and compressed that spring. That sort of kind of helps it get started. So that's going to go down there. And then you've got your nut. And that goes down there. And then what I usually do is take a small just like a small wrench or something and sort of kind of hold it as I start to turn the other side so that I can catch. Once you start to feel it, you can kind of let go. I don't know if it's got it yet. There it goes. Okay. You do not want to tighten it all the way down right now at the start of the kit. You actually want to do that when it's in the car. So basically just tighten it down until it's kind of hand tight. Oh yeah. That's a good feeling. Rotate it a little bit, but you definitely don't want to over tighten it right now because you'll crush the balls and they'll get a little flat spot. So you want to just tighten it down until it's hand tight. Got the cover that they give you. This is just like a little dirt cover to keep crap from getting into the thrust bearing. Keeps sliding out of my hands. So that little guy. And we'll press him down in there. And that's a diff. Excellent. So we won't need our clear grease. I don't think again, right? Black grease, though, we'll probably use again. And just like that, bag A is done. Bag E. Bag B. The dreaded turnbuckles. I love how they make you get the turnbuckles done first. It's like the worst part. My least favorite. So for this, we're going to get out our calipers. And we're going to get out our shock shaft pliers. Okay. And we need our turnbuckle wrench, which is, I think, in one of my drawers. Hang on. Again, sorry for the background noise, everybody. I knew I had one. Right. Okay. So first things first. So when you're doing turnbuckles, don't forget to always put a little bit of grease in the rod end. I thought I had some of my purple grease here, but I don't know where it went. Where did it go? Steve's on here. Sneven's on here. And for this one, we're going to actually use our drill. For a little bit of it. Shock shaft pliers are to hold on to the rod end. So that's going to get held in there. This is going to go in there. Your spacer goes in there. And on the other side, we'll just twist on there by hand. And then we've got to make sure that it has that little where's my other? Don't want to crush it, but go. It's pretty close. Not quite, though. Again, if I miss you in the chat when I'm looking down at stuff, I apologize. It's a little bit more difficult with my my computer not being here, so just be aware I'm not ignoring you on purpose. Should just twist all the way around. There we go. Derp-a-dur. Okay. Little drag link is done. I got the 2020 Reedy race on the TV right now because I'm just trying to find something to watch that I don't really need to listen to, you know, so I don't have it in the background so much. I was tempted to get some really cool TLR, not TLR, J Concepts turnbuckles for this car, but I kind of blew all my money on these sweet wheels on my crawler, which I don't think you can see behind me, but um, I got some sweet wheels for my Vanquish crawler. It's almost like Emerson's using the bathroom on purpose. Can you guys hear that? The toilet flushing. It's one of the sad parts about being in the basement. All right. What are you guys' anybody on, all of you guys that are on here, let's try to get in the chat. Let's see any predictions on the not the Cactus Classic, but the Desert Classic. That's coming up here soon. Coming up tomorrow. I think practice starts. I think practice actually started today, but officially I think it starts tomorrow. So I think place looked packed. You know, they're holding the world, so it's going to have an extra kind of aura around it this year, I think. I think it'll be for the guys that were just at the Nitro Challenge, I think it's going to be like a welcome change from what they were doing just last weekend. Indoors, climate controlled, kind of different cars. Steve RC, yes, it is a 10 scale race. So it has a history. So it used to be called the race that was in, a lot of times it was spring break during March, was called the Cactus Classic. And it was like a bucket race list for a lot of us. 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Well, actually all the 2010s. It was at a place called SRS, and it was an outdoor race. When I went in 2000, it was hard packed, kind of desert dirt, kind of very similar to actually what we raced on at Hobby Action, except that it was outside and the sun was hitting it, so it chewed up tires like crazy. We were using think red and pink compound taper pins, which was a very, very fine pin. Actually, I still have some. So this is an 8 scale tire, and this is the pink clay compound. But this, I don't know if you guys can see that, but that is a taper pin, and this is what we used to race like on that track. And I think I spent like $600 in tires because I ran 4-wheel drive mod, stock buggy, stock truck, and mod truck. So my tire bill was atrocious. I remember I had a wad. I took a gangster roll of like $1,300 cash with me, and I came home pretty much with nothing, which is pretty common for me anyways. Yeah, 2000 I went there. So got a suntan. It was awesome, dude. It was like freaking cool. Then SRS changed hands a few times, and then Hobbytown in Phoenix bought the rights to it. It was like SRS Hobbytown, if they're Hobbytown SRS, something like that. And that was around for a couple years, and then when they went away, it kind of everybody thought the race would go away. Well, Hobby Action came around, and they started doing their Desert Classic, Basically, it's the same race. It's just got a different name. So, but now it's indoor. I remember there was a lot of hubbub about it going indoor, but I think, like I said, I think after this last week, I think everybody would be more than happy that it's indoor for sure. So, made the A main in stock truck at the 2000 Cactus Classic, and my servo horn, my plastic servo horn on my Triple XT that I had just gotten actually came off one lap in. So that was a bummer. I did barely qualify for it, but I did make it. That was one of those things where some of the guys around here that were around at the time, you know, they kind of didn't think that I would be able to make it into any A main, and I at least made the stock truck main, so I was pretty happy about that. Then we had to drive home. My friend Chris Catlett, he's went with me 2 out of 3 times that we went to Phoenix. So Chris and I drove. We didn't mean to, but we ended up driving his 1985 Ford Predator Mustang. From Omaha to Phoenix and back to Scottsdale. And the way back, it snowed. And he was asleep. And he didn't really like anybody driving besides him. So the fact that I was allowed to drive his car in the mountains at night was one thing, but then when he woke up and realized that we were in a pretty heavy snowstorm at the top of a mountain, or going up a mountain, and then we had to come back down the mountain, he was not a happy camper. And then we traveled again to the Nitro Challenge, I believe in 2011, and that time we took the southern route, so we went to Oklahoma City and then went over, and we actually hit snow in Flagstaff, but that's kind of normal. But we were pulling a trailer for everybody, and on the way back, I actually made the A main at that race too, in e-buggy, and then proceeded to my Spectrum radio. Decided to not link up at the start of that race, and of course, I mean, it's a big race like that, so they're not going to wait for you. So they started the race before I could get it figured out. I walked over to the end of pit lane, turned on my stuff, and my car worked. But on the driver's stand, it wouldn't link up. I was pretty devastated because I had qualified 7th. And just could not believe it that had happened. So we left right after that, and I almost killed us. So I fell asleep at the wheel, and when I woke up, we were pointed right at a overpass. If I would have woken up like three seconds later, it would have been bad. That would not have been good at all. So, gotta know your limits, I guess. Trying to get these turnbuckles just right. It's kind of annoying. Friday should be fun. I think I'm just going to race 13.5 4-wheel drive on Friday. Emerson will probably run both. But I think just my four-wheel drive is ready to go, really. I don't think this thing's gonna be ready to go by then, so I could bring my other car, but we'll see. I got a lot to do this weekend. Got to work on the oval at some point, so probably Saturday night after the our first Saturday back on dirt. I'm missing the chat. So when you use your phone, the chat comes up on the screen and then it disappears. So okay, we've got our first two turnbuckles done. Now we're moving on to our next two. Rear camber link. Oh, wow. I'm kind of feeling like I should have gotten the blingy turnbuckles now that I'm building this car. I feel kind of dumb for not getting them. Actually, what I should have done is gotten the Yokomo turnbuckles that are sitting in our shelf. $33.5. Close. Do the other side real fast here. So it's taken me a while to notice it, but my son and I actually talk very similar. He's kind of got this, like, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like not a draw, but it's like we both like lengthen a lot of words for some reason. Sneathen's gonna miss the ProTech and the J Concepts race. That's rough. Those are two good races. Oh well. See, I just did it. I said races like that, like I lengthened it out. The ProTech race is always the week of my anniversary, so one of these years I'm gonna have to not put that race on that weekend. It's actually the 26th, so this year it actually works out because it's done on the 23rd, so it's not as close. But most of the years it's on like the 25th, 26th, you know, that same weekend. And this year's our 20th, so I guess I got lucky on that one. I get my wife's birthday, our anniversary, and Mother's Day all within a month. Kind of sucks. A little pricey for 20 years. Actually 23 years, but well, Mother's Day would have been 17 years, but still. The point is those are three big wife holidays. Hope she's not watching. Ah, crap, I went the wrong way. God. Stupid. You know, it's crazy how for the first maybe 20 years of racing RC cars, I don't think I ever used calipers once. And then I remember like 2012, I think, or something like that. Started using calipers to build turnbuckles. Never even occurred to me to measure. Hopefully I'll have my mini truggy soon. I'm trading with our fellow racer a crawler for a techno truggy. So I'll be back in the truggy game. Gotta get the mini truggy guys to come back out on Friday nights. Emerson and I are gonna have to fight over who gets the mini truggy. I want it, but he also likes racing it. I thought about just getting a new one, but finance-wise, it's just not gonna work. So we'll have to wait. But trading, that was I can handle that. All right, last turnbuckle, then we move on to the shocks. Last turnbuckle, then we move on to the shocks. Knock the tedious stuff, the tedious stuff out of the way first. I like it. Supposed to be at 29. Let's see what this measures out at. Nope, a little closer. Nope, wrong way. Derp der. It's gonna be fun having both cars, I think, Associated and Losi. Got to start thinking about. No, I don't. What am I saying? I'm not gonna think about that at all. I was like, what weird car am I gonna get for carpet next year? I don't think I'm gonna get any weird car for carpet next year. You know, there's probably a setting that leaves the chat up the whole time, and I just didn't push the right button. Okay, so this is supposed to go like that. And there we go. There's one side. Actually, that's got to go like that. Recheck that real fast, see how off I am. That's make the other side the same. Okay, how are we doing? Not too bad. There's 13 of you on. That's pretty cool. Thank you guys tuning in, hanging out with me for a little bit. No, I haven't been doing these that often. And like I said, I'm actually using my phone, so kind of sorry for the background noise if you guys can hear that. It's just I didn't want to not be on tonight after I said that I was going to at the podcast. So Normally I got my computer set up and I got my good camera, and this time I forgot my computer at work. We're getting some much more stuff in. So we got the new Fleeta V2 speed controllers coming in tomorrow. Their Spectra charger, and then the discharge bank for that charger. So if you guys want to charge some crazy amps into your stock batteries, there you go. Gonna have the setup for it. And then we got their latest 17.5 and 13.5 motors as well. Should be in tomorrow. Tracking says it'll be there tomorrow. So we'll see if that holds up. Hopefully it will. The JRXTs are on their way, I think. So we might have those by Friday. And that's going to be pretty rad. And I think I get paid Friday. So that's not rad, because there goes another one of my paychecks. Well, not all of it, but you know what I mean. Definitely going to get one of those to go with my other one, my big one. You know what they should do is they should re-release the bodies. Like if they can't give us the cars in 10 scale, at least re-release the bodies. Make a mold and release the bodies so that we can have freshy paint jobs on our old cars. It's probably easier said than done. I bet the molds are long gone, but I know there's a guy in Canada that was repopping them. That you like order it on eBay and then you wait for 3 weeks. But still, can't cost that much money, can it? Probably can. Would be nice though to be able to kind of either do the box art or like put your own paint scheme on a vintage car. I just think that would be really cool. Okay, shocks. Moving on to the shocks. Got my trusty green slime. Don't need this anymore. Bag C. Shocks are always a little tedious because there's just all these little parts that you got to do first, and then you get everything together. So we'll see. What do we got here? 32 and 27. So that's about where I was thinking anyways. Take these off. Any of you guys watched the Mandalorian today? I thought it was a pretty good first episode, kind of setting some of the conflicts up. So Are TLR shocks similar to Associated? I mean, kind of. Modern shocks kind of have all the same pieces. You kind of build them the same way now too, so. Well, then I won't spoil anything, but a couple of you guys haven't yet, so I won't even say anything, but the first episode kind of just was kind of bringing us back into the world and kind of establishing maybe what some of the conflicts are. So I'll leave it at that. And a purpose. It gave, like, Mandalorian already accomplished getting Grogu to the Jedi, and spoiler alert, they're friends again. So, they're back together again, I should say, so, but, so it's almost like, well, now what does he have to do? So they've kind of set up now what he has to do. And they kind of did that in the Book of Boba Fett too. Lots of little pieces here. Lots of little pieces. White rears. And is that green fronts? Green fronts. Okay. That. These. Again, if I'm missing your guys' comments, it's not on purpose, just because I'm using my phone. They're kind of floating by the screen. They stay up there for a little bit, then they go away, so. Josh White, should I get the motor and AC combo or just the motor and get the... Okay, I think I know what you guys are talking about. I know you guys are chatting in the chat too, but I'm going to weigh in here. Just get the speed controller and then pick out whatever fast motor you want. Don't get any of the combos. Most of the Hobby Wing combos that are out there come with a locked end bell, not a good motor, so you need to make sure that you... I always tell people, all you really need is a just stock. That's fine. And then pick out whatever $100 motor you want. There's no getting around the $100 part of it. So that's just part of the deal. In fact, Emerson and I were going to do we're going to take stock of everything that we have, because we might be buying some new motors. Oh geez, I got hiccups. We might be buying some new motors and stuff just because. Get some freshies for the year. So I was thinking of trying a slot machine out. Just kind of intriguing. Got the R1 motor in my four-wheeler. I like motive motors a lot, so Emerson's had a 17.5 motive and a 13.5 motive in his two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive and his truck this whole time. So, like those motors a lot. I'm running a motive 17 or a 7 flat 7.0 for mod, and I have a 7.5 as well. So I'm not sure which motor I'm going to put in this car. So I am working this. Well, am I working this weekend? Yes, Sunday. I work Sunday. Friday and Saturday I'm running races, and then I work Sunday. Tim's here on Friday, so he's a pretty good guy to go to and ask and talk about race stuff. Mark Borgatti is another one. If Emerson's up there, I think he might work Saturday. If Emerson works Saturday, he'll be another one that you can feel confident about talking to about race stuff. So, okay, so what I'm doing here, part of the shocks, is I'm just starting to get the bits and pieces put together. I like to put a little bit of shock oil in the um, spring retainer, and that's where you put the O-ring into the spring retainer. So I dabbed a little bit of shock oil in there, and then you take your O-ring and get it inside of that collar and get it set in the groove, and then a little bit more shock oil, just a tiny little bit is all you're going to need. Kind of rub it around, and now when you need to adjust the ride height of your car, you can do so without it sticking or being really, really tight. I don't know if any of you guys have had a 8 scale before, but some of the 8 scale threaded shock bodies are super duper tight, regardless of whether or not you use any sort of lubing on the collar. My biggest gripe about a couple cars out there is you'll try to adjust your shocks, and like it'll loosen up. You'll lose all the oil in your caps without even thinking about it, because your caps will come off. Super duper annoying. Ow. Cracked my back. Time is it? 57 minutes. I think we might get through the shocks, and then I'll call it a night for tonight. Just like I said, didn't want to not do this because I told you guys I would. So X Factor motors, Trinity X Factor motors would do that all the time. The stator would break loose. I think I haven't heard of any slot machines doing that yet. So hopefully, that's kind of why I wanted to go with them. Plus, the slot machines have the tabs, the solder tabs, whereas the other motors do not. They have that little cutout, which I don't like personally. I like to solder my wires onto my tabs. Kind of picky that way. We've been getting really good turnouts for Friday, so this Friday could be good. It is supposed to snow Thursday night, I think. Kind of over winter, man. You can feel spring coming, but it's still technically winter. So I don't want to get my new crawler muddy either. Okay. Shock collars are on. I'm going to put all the O-rings on the bottom and the top here. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do-do. Do-do-do. 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 Another race I'm looking forward to going to is the Hobby Haven shootout. I think I got permission to go to that with Emerson. I think Emerson's going to be out of school, so shouldn't be an issue. But outdoor track, I have a history of winning that race, and it's been a while since they've had the legit Hobby Haven shootout. I guess last year they were back, but this year I actually get to go. I was actually scheduling our summer series around the some crawler event that I wanted to go to, but it sounds like they're not even going to have it the weekend that I thought that I wanted to go, so that kind of freed me up. And I think that's going to be one of those days at the Plex that it'll be like an open Saturday, because it is Memorial Day weekend, so it almost makes sense to just do something special there. Okay, so now where's my, there it is. So I'm torn because I like to use green slime, but I've also had really good luck of just putting shock oil in. So I might just do that for this first shock build. I think we're just going to use shock oil to kind of lube up our O-rings here. So goes X-ring, machined spacer, X-ring, seal, and then twist. And one tip for these right now is we're not gonna tighten this down all the way yet. So normally, I mean, you would think you tighten it all the way down, but we're actually going to make sure that our shaft goes in and out smoothly before we do that. So just going to set that there and have it ready to go. So same thing, a little bit of shock oil. I don't think it really matters what shock oil you use, as long as you use shock oil. And that. Another X-ring. And this. And take this. And almost tighten it all the way down, but not quite. Same thing. Again, I remember this build now. Where the last time we built this car, you know, it's been about 3 years, but where they knock out the tedious stuff right away, you know. I think turnbuckles are the worst part of a kit build, and then shocks. Usually the shocks have been at the end, like associated. Shocks are like the last thing you do. A lot of times you get to that section, you'll flip the page to see the shocks and go, ugh, that's right, I still got to build the shocks. So just getting this done first. It's kind of nice. Excuse me. I burped. That was a water burp from drinking water. So I can do something about this blob that I have. Okay, now we need to put together our piston. Got a bunch of crap on my mat too. It's not the cleanest mat in the whole wide world. Okay, 1/6s, 1/7/1/6s. Interesting. 1/6, 1/7 split and 1/6s. Those go in the rear. And there should be a little spacer. I'm always looking up to see if I miss anything in the chat. Again, the chat kind of disappears, so kind of doing my best to keep up with it a little bit if I can. And that's going to be front. That's going to be rear. Okay, so we need to, I wonder if I have any of my motor spray left. I hope so. I kind of hid it so that Emerson couldn't find it. Yeah, there's a little bit left. Yay. We're just hitting the threads of the shock shaft to kind of spray any mold release or anything like that off of them. Once you do that, you kind of don't want to touch them again with your fingers. So got to be not careful, but just watch what you're doing a little bit. And then we need to dab a thread lock, which, where did my thread lock go? Okay. Ah, there it is. Little dab of thread lock. And I like to just put some on the, I don't pour thread lock in anything because you'll never get it out again sometimes. Got to really watch that. And whoop. Pretty sure that is 050, and it is. So gonna watch that. And let's see, put that on like so. That's your front, 1/6. You know what? Since this is a new car, I'm gonna take my Sharpie and I'm going to mark the 1/6. You're gonna mark the so you can see it. I'll show you guys what I'm doing here. Might show up. So you see, I don't know if you guys can see that, maybe, kind of. It helps you look, so I can go, oh, that's a 1/6, instead of sitting there going, what is that? Ugh. Okay. There we go. Dip a tiny little bit of your screw into a little tiny bit of thread lock, and in we go. Use your shock shaft pliers. There we go. Numero uno. Emerson's watching something in his room and I can totally hear it. So it's like really annoying. Kind of distracting, honestly. I think it's a race of some sort. Kind of sounds like a NASCAR race, which is weird. It's not really into that form of racing, I don't think. Could be Days of Thunder. I wonder if it's Days of Thunder. Oh, you guys can't hear that? Good. I can hear it. I almost wanted to go up there and yell at him. I was going to text him, and then I realized that my phone is right there, so I can't text him. Shut up! Ah. Okay. 2 more to go. Whoops, including this one. You know, the last time I did a kit build on After Hours was the B 74.2, my carpet car, and that thing got some traction. It's had over 1,000 views. I think both part 1 and part 2 are doing pretty good. And I don't monetize those. Like I turn off the ads, but it was kind of cool seeing that do well. There was really no problems with that car. Just kind of carpet season's over, so don't need it anymore. And I don't know. We'll see how well this one does. Usually for the after hours stuff, it gets like maybe 200-300 views most of the time, which is still seems really low to me, but we always want more, you know. Okay, that's there. Let's open this bag up because this is our cap screws and our bleeder screws. And then the rear shocks look like they need a, no, front shocks need a spacer, shock spacer. And there we go. Fresh shock tools. Still have my shock tools from the last time I owned a Losi car. Personally, I mean, Emerson's got, Emerson's just been killing it with his car. His buggy is a DC roller with hardly any upgrades on it. And like Emerson, my son's car is the whole reason why, half the reason why I wanted to get this car again going into this summer, because I'm driving his car and I'm just like, holy crap, the car's really good. So here we are. All right, so front shocks, we're gonna take and put shock oil on the threads so we don't mess up our O-rings. And again, this is why we did not, so this is why we don't tighten this down all the way either, because when you tighten this down all the way, it expands those O-rings a little bit and it makes this harder to poke through at first, right? So now that you got it in there, now you tighten it down and make sure that it's smooth, okay? Because sometimes you can tighten that down, and what'll happen is that it'll cause the shock shaft to bind a little bit, and obviously your shock's not going to work that good. So then you should take it apart, figure out why it's binding. Usually an O-ring is swelled up or something. Either that or these are the machine parts in here, so you're not really going to find that. But if you're building a car and that you don't have the machined shock parts, like I'm pretty sure the Associated cars don't come with the machined shock parts. They've got the tree, and you got to clip everything off the tree. Well, if you don't burr those edges on those on that tree, a lot of times they can cause stuff to bind up inside of that little compartment in there. Okay, so that's another reason why you don't tighten this thing down, your bottom shock bottom down right here, until the shaft is all the way through. Okay, so a little bit of shock oil, and boop. Now we tighten this down, and we're good, right? So those are your fronts. So let's put our ends down. If you're building shocks and you don't have shock shaft pliers, you need to go to your hobby store immediately when you wake up tomorrow and buy some shock shaft pliers. Shock shaft pliers save your shock shafts from getting all scratched up. I've seen people take pliers, take a rag, and put the pliers around the rag, and that can kind of work, but if it slips or it wears through the rag, you can scratch your shock shaft, and that's how bad things happen. That's how you get leaky shocks. So shock shaft pliers have these nice little grooves, thus they're called shock shaft pliers, and holds onto that shaft without doing any sort of damage. That allows you to twist these bad boys on. And then a funny story. We'll check our stroke. So front's supposed to be at 22 for now. A little tighter. There we go. So there we are, right? So these Hobbytown shock shaft pliers are really nice because they've got measurement stuff, and then you've got your gaps here for 3mm, 3.5, and 4. But then it also has these bad boys. So if you need to grab your shock body, you can hang on to it without doing any damage, right? Because you definitely don't want to take pliers or anything and squeeze down on those threads. And then it's supposed to have this little silver thingy here so that you can press in your balls, your little what do they call those? Shock bushings. And somebody messed with my pliers and they're gone now. So I'm gonna have to use pliers for that one. So pliers, hear the snap, we're good to go. Okay, but shock shaft pliers are awesome for multiple reasons. All right, we'll get this other one going. Where's my? There it is. I think my YouTube automatically started a come race with us video. I have to get my Hoosier video done finally. I'm a big slacker. I have all that footage and it's all on my computer saved, and I haven't done diddly squat with it. I've been very unmotivated to get that one done because I kind of already made some videos. Like I did the walkthrough. This was from October. I did the walkthrough and got a little bit of video practice, and got the boys, and then I got all the pro mains and stuff like that. But I do have footage of the rest of us, and I just haven't. I've been completely unmotivated to get that video done. A lot of it's just been time. Like the coming back from October, it seems like we were just all out, just constantly busy for the last 5 months. Just haven't had a break, it seems like. That's why the carpet season just seemed to drag on. Just was no break at all. It just sucked. All right, we almost got this here. I'm being maybe too much of a perfectionist, but snap this ball in here. There we go. Okay, now ouch. Got my 2013 Reedy J Concepts shock stand ready to go. Fill it up to the top. come up. We're gonna, when we get rid of the bubbles, we're gonna twist on the way down. If you guys can see all the bubbles coming out right there. And we're gonna add a little bit more. And set that off to the side. Fill it all the way up. Come up. So if you guys can see that twist on the way down, you can see the bubbles, hopefully. Just like that. Add a little bit. Front shocks are almost there. Onto the rears. Perfect. No sticky. It's good. That our Techno series finishes up in, is it 3 weeks? 3 Saturdays? We got 1, 2, 3 Saturdays from this upcoming Saturday. And then our 8 scale season is over. I got a whole bunch of door. This year is better than last year when it comes to door prizes. I just have more stuff right out of the gate. So pretty happy about that. Not a lot of big stuff, but just more stuff. I got to come up with a way to disperse it. Like I think the brown bag stuff is fine, but it just gets a little tedious, I guess. But it's gonna be pretty cool. I already got the Techno kits, so those are ready to go. So that's a load off my mind. Awards, I sent off a reminder today about the awards for the Techno series, and yeah, we're gonna get there. I was thinking I might run next year e-buggy if I can get that a Gamma NT whatever car with the inboard shock setup. That car is very intriguing, and I think it would work really good at the Plex, just because of the way that our track is. So if I can get that car over the summertime, I might run next year's Techno series and e-buggy. It's one of those cars where I kind of just want to have it. Like it reminds me of like a little bit of like a 10th Technology Predator. From back in the day, but in an 8 scale. But the shocks are going the wrong way. So the Predator had the shocks going inboard like a Revo before Revo came out, by the way. So, but this car's got them side to side. But I still think that's kind of a cool, very cool design. Got to figure out how to put a J Concepts body on it though. Maybe they'll make one. All right, we are almost done with tonight. I'm going to get through these shocks, get them bled, make sure they feel good, and then we'll close her up for tonight and move on. Those of you guys that are still with us, you guys are troopers. Oof. Oh yeah, that's right. What am I doing? Yeah, that's perfect. Haha. Okay. I need to get some footage of my crawler going before it supposedly snows again. I don't want to get my new crawler all muddy, but I need to get it done for this part 2 video. You know, the last time I did one of those, it just so happened that around this time of year, I had the Element, and we did a build video for it. And Emerson and I went to Colorado for 4 days. And on the way back, we stopped at Lake McConaughey and found this just epic crawling location and got some really good footage for it. But Lake McConaughey is 8 hours away, so 7 hours away. I do not want to drive 7 hours just to get like 10 minutes of crawling footage. So there's a apartment complex at 168th and Maple that I've used in the past. It's got this nice rock garden, and then it's got this epic waterfall that goes behind it. And I've crawled there before and nobody's yelled at me. So I think I'm gonna try it again. It was during COVID too when I was there. There was this poor family. They were saying hi to their grandma, and their grandma was inside, because I think it's like a senior community type place. And I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." I'm just gonna pre-tap these caps real quick because I don't want to do it while they're on the shock. So the funny thing about this instruction manual is, like, I've built like so many 22s. It's ridiculous how many low C 22s from the first one all the way to now I've actually built. It's kind of dumb, actually, to think about it. Like, I've got a drawer here. I should pull it out sometime. I keep all my manuals. I don't keep all my boxes. I keep a lot of them, but I keep all my manuals. I have a lot of low C manuals in my stuff. I think I have pulled them out once and put them on Facebook, but when I was a sponsor driver, I'd usually get a fresh kit a year, sometimes twice a year if they'd let me. So built a lot of cars. So even though this is different from what I have been running, it does feel kind of natural to look at the manual and go, okay. Because normally I'm griping about the manual, how it doesn't have any instruction. Like, this one doesn't necessarily tell you how to build. It still really doesn't tell you how to build the shocks, but they've at least got they've at least got arrows. So like this arrow here, says up and down ×3. Well, I mean, okay, you should pump it more than 3 times. Really. And then you should bleed it after you pump it. But nowhere does this say that. Now, the Techno manual does. So if you ever want a good, even if you don't own an Associated or low C car, if you ever want a good instruction on paper of how to build a modern emulsion shock, look at the Techno manual, because they do a very good job of explaining what you should be doing. Or you can just watch me right now. So we're going to end tonight on our shocks. So we're going to go to the first one that we put in the I'm drawing a blank. Shock stand. There you go. Okay. So we're going to start it. This is where you need your rag. So let me move this out of the way. Don't want to make a huge mess. All right, so shock up. There's your bleed hole. Okay, so get it tight. Take your rag, kind of hold it up, and I'm going to be a little bit out of frame, aren't I? Okay, that's fine. We'll come back here a little bit. So stand up, rag. I like to hold the rag over the bleeder cap hole and then push this down and wipe it off. So while it's down like that, take your screw in. Now give it a bunch of squishes to build up a little bit of pressure in there. And we do have a dead shock, which is nice. Almost dead. You can see the pressure starting to build now. It's starting to push it out a little bit. So we're going to take this guy. We're going to open this back up. And again, with it fully extended, little rag here. Going to put it up on the bleeder cap screw. Push it back down. There should be a little bit spooging out. You can kind of see it's kind of wet. Kind of wipe that away. And then put your screw back in, and we should be good from that point on. So, dead, right? Okay. Very good. Spring. Tip that I learned from my buddy Will Brinton is don't take your springs and squish them together without putting them on the shock. Okay, so if you take this like this and you go, hey, look at this, and you start squeezing it, you can actually change the rate of the spring a little bit. So try not to do that. Let's see. What do they want us to use on the front? Is it the front is standard, which would be this one. There we go. Shock number one. Honestly, Matt Kessel, oh dang, switching over to TLR. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I'm going to have both for this summer, so we're going to see. But I don't know. Felt like trying something new again. I hate putting these little screws in on the bottom of these. The last time I had this car, I really didn't want to screw these in because when you change springs, you gotta unscrew it. You can't just quickly get it done. I know why they're there. They're to stop the things from coming off. But honestly, this is so deep that I've never actually had that happen. So I'm going to not do that. I am going to keep them, however. I am going to keep these things around. So if I ever do have one come off, then I'm definitely going to. But I haven't had one come off. Emerson hasn't had one come off yet either. So I'm going to skip that part. All right. Cap. Yeah, and somebody in the chat said to make sure we don't strip the screw. That is true. Gotta watch that. If you can, you don't want to over tighten the bleeder screw, because that is possible. Because these are just plastic caps. They do make metal caps. They make those domed caps, and I might actually get those for this car. So then you don't have to worry about it as much. But plastic caps, generally speaking, actually seal better. So, and most of the time, these kind of shocks, like on a high-end kit, they don't really have the problem that like a Traxxas car would do, where you break the top of the cap off all the time. You just don't see that. So Um, they don't even strip the top. I've never seen a cap on a high-end shock like an Associated or Losi car actually strip the and come off either. I've actually never seen that before. So, all right, build up a little bit of pressure and unscrew our top here and rebleed it real quick. There should be at least a little bit coming out. There we go. Look at that. Screw back in. Rebleeding your shocks ain't a bad idea if you guys are at like a place with different humidity and temperature from where you came from, and you don't necessarily want to build. You should just rebuild your shocks, but just rebleeding them sometimes can kind of alleviate any sort of unevenness you might feel going from one place to another. You know, like if I travel from here to, say, you know, Tennessee or something, or Texas, you know, most of the time I'll just rebuild my shocks. But if I'm in a hurry, like if I just got there and I want to practice and I have just enough time, you know, it might be something you do just to do something quickly, I guess. Okay, now the rears will definitely have a lot of oil coming out, so we'll almost done. One more shock. 2 more shocks. I'm gonna go to bed. Set my alarm for 2 a.m. so I can. Is that coming up soon? So I can watch the Picard episode 3. Yeah, 40 plus. ProTech Race 40 plus. The race payout program is got our ProTech race as a tier 2 race. So I got my old TLR shirts upstairs, and I'll put a TLR sticker on my car for that race and hope that I win some money. I don't know. Last year I TQ'd, but I ended up finishing 4th. So got to redeem myself a little bit too. I didn't end up winning the summer series though, so that was good. I love my B4 though. Going from the B4.3 to the B4 or B6.3 to the B6.4 was a game changer last summer. I think if I my initial idea was that I wasn't gonna put the new car because I'd literally just gotten 0.3, but I changed my mind. Did I just screw that up? I did screw that up. I changed my mind after that first summer series race. So I drove Will's car and I was like, all right, I gotta get a new car. It's fine. I'll get the new car. Okay, rear shock, and then I accidentally put our wrong shock cup on because I'm tired. It's late. And I wasn't paying attention. Okay, front, rear, or sorry, 2 fronts, 1 rear. We got to do 1 more rear. kind of, like I said, a lot of the tedious stuff's kind of done. Once this is finished. The cool thing is I still have a J Concepts F2 body painted for this car, so I don't have to spend any money on a paint job again. Emerson's going to take the stock body and paint a body for me, but I still have the J Concepts F2 body with my colors and the HobbyPlex, the big HobbyPlex sticker on it, so that'll be good. All right, last one to bleed, and then we'll cut it off for tonight. Beautiful. Ah. Okay. That'll do it. We've got ourselves 4 complete shocks, 6 complete turnbuckles, and a finished differential, ball diff. I'd say that's good progress for tonight. Again, working on finishing part 2 of my Axial Pro build video. Here's the truck all painted up. This is my my crawler paint scheme. I think I'm officially going to do just this from now on, the white with the red bottom and a black stripe in the middle with Sharpie. And J Concepts Crete cab only. Body went really well. I got to find an interior. Got to figure out how I'm going to make an interior so I can get those scale points going for this one. But this is going to be really cool. It's all ready to go. The overdrive servo works. I got the winch all hooked up, so take some video of this thing this weekend and should be getting video of this thing in action. I'm looking forward to it. So, yeah, that'd be awesome. In the meantime, it's race weekend on the dirt. Friday, Family Friday Off-Road. Doors open at 4. We start racing at 7. A lot of beginners. And then we have our first Saturday Speed Off-Road back on the dirt full-time now. We got 2 weeks on our current layout, and then that Sunday, Monday, Tuesday after, is it the 11th? I think it's the 11th, Saturday the 11th. So the 12th, 13th, and 14th, be making some pretty significant changes to the track to get ready for the final Techno Series. I think it's going to be fun for 10 scale for a couple of weeks too. And then the big ProTech track build happens pretty quickly, actually. And I'll show you guys before we go. If you guys are still on here, you're going to get a treat. So I'm pretty sure this is the ProTech race. Track layout. The driver stand is here. And we're going to have a back straightaway. So you're going to be coming up all the way over here. You're going to turn in. This is going to be a stairs to a 180. Coming this way, there's going to be a jump. This is an up and down right here. This is going to be pretty sick. And then right here is going to be a rhythm, which if you guys were lucky enough to race on the carpet track this weekend, I'm going to try to do something like that, like a six-pack basically. This is uphill. So it's going to curve up into the corner. And then from the corner, we'll be going down and then back around, and then there's going to be a jump onto the straightaway. So that jump that's there right now is actually kind of what it's going to be. And then this will turn into this in July. So you guys can see the straightaway is basically going to be the same. This part right here, and then this part right here. Instead of stretching out this way, it'll cut back to this rise, and then a rhythm, and then this will be different. So instead of jumping onto a straightaway, you're gonna cut back here. I've always wanted to do this right here. This has been in my head for quite a long time, so I'm gonna try to get that going. But two versions of this. So this is what we start with. This is what we go to July, and then who knows after this. But those are the two big races that we have, so kind of already got it sketched out, have an idea of what I want to do. So put this somewhere safe so I don't lose it. Okay, folks, that's it. I'm going to reach around there and turn my phone off so I can get my phone back, and I'm going to go to bed, maybe take a nap, wake up, watch Picard, and then I'll see you guys at work. I work tomorrow at 11, so long day tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. We'll build the rest of the car the next couple days. You guys are just going to have to wait to see the final product. Adios, amigos.